2021 May, there was like a huge crash. Then the stablecoin holdings for smart money actually peaked at around 12%-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like peak fear in recent times.
Yeah.
But currently we are only at about 9%.
9%, so we can drop a bit more.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency exchange.
We only take Bitcoin and other crypto favorite.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chain Debrief podcast. Now, over the past few weeks and months, right, crypto market has actually been in a sideways market or even in a bear market. If you look at the Ethereum gas fee, right, gas fee is actually very, very low. Are we in a bear market right now? Joining us today is Martin, a data journalist from Nansen. Welcome to the show. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. So I'm a data journalist at Nansen. So Nansen is a blockchain analytics company, and my role primarily focuses on content marketing related stuff. So I write research articles. I am like the point of contact for various like media sites, like Chain Debrief, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like roughly what I do in my day job.
How do you get into crypto?
Yeah, so I graduated class of 2020, so relatively fresh. I got into crypto around the same time as well. So when I was graduating, I was looking for basically a place for me to invest, I guess. When I graduated, it was also the COVID crash. That it was roughly that season. And when I saw that happening, and I saw the various like quantitative easings which the Fed were doing, as well as how quickly the stock market actually bounced back, while the underlying economy was really, really like bad.
Shit lah. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Then I got a bit worried. Like, it didn't make sense for me to actually put my money in stocks anymore because to me, fundamentally, they were at prices that didn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah, so that went against like my whole like value investing thesis, and like there was such a big disconnect between the underlying economy as well as the stock market that I wasn't comfortable. So I wanted to find an alternative asset class. So my friend actually asked me to take a look at Bitcoin.
This is back in
2020
March.
Yeah,
April,
like
May?
March. I would say like May.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, so
that
it's
was
like,
when it was going up again.
Yeah, it was like going back.
Got it.
Yeah, so it was like May. But then at the time, like the only thing I knew about like crypto was the 2017 boom and bust, which I remember very vividly because I was still in uni and I was in class actually. Like I was in lecture, I was like watching the chart and everything. But in my head, I was like, oh, this is just like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never gonna buy this. Like
This shit.
yeah, I'm never
This
gonna buy
scam.
it. Yeah, this scam. Like okay, like I didn't like think it was a scam. I just didn't think there were much like fundamentals backing it.
Got it. So you started on crypto in 2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
so about like 18 months ago. So then I started looking into crypto, started going down Bitcoin. So I really bought into the idea of Bitcoin being digital gold. Yeah, that made a lot of sense to me. And like as a young person, I was like, no one my age and younger is gonna buy like physical gold in the future. Like who wants to?
Yeah.
Like it's just so inconvenient. They're just like, yeah, it's just not the best, I think.
Sure.
So this was after like months of like reading and like trying to like really understand the space. So I started like reading in like May. So by the time I bought my first like amount of like crypto, I was already in August
Yeah.
2020. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so like I guess like I'm a very, very cautious crypto person, which is like an irony, I guess, in the markets today. Yeah.
Your role at Nansen allows
Yeah.
you to look at all the data, what's happening on chain, and making sense of it.
Yeah.
Right. So what is happening right now? What data is that you see on Nansen that you can share with us today?
Yeah. So I guess like the big question is, are we in a bear market, right? So I think it would be wise to like kind of like predefine what we mean when we say we're in a bear market, because like I feel like everyone has like very varying definitions of a bear market, and that might lead to like a lot of confusion. So I think like in terms of like the like a very traditional sense of a bear market, so like a stock bear market, for example, which is I think like a 20%
20%
yeah,
drawdown.
20% drawdown from all-time highs. I think that was like the definition. So then yeah, like obviously we are in a bear market.
Bear market, right?
We are nowhere near 69k. So
Yeah.
we're like clearly we're in a bear market if we go by that definition.
Yeah.
But if we go by like the crypto like people definition of like a 2018 to 2020 like 2-year horrendous bear market, then we are obviously too early to tell.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like what I guess like on-chain data is not super clear as well.
Meaning what? Meaning people are still actively buying, but there's sell pressure as well?
Yeah, so I think I think one important metric is stablecoin percentage of a smart money's portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like smart money is like funds or like whales in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on Nansen we actually have like a dashboard which shows us very clearly. So 2021 May, there was like a huge crash. Then the stablecoin holdings for smart money actually peaked at around 12% ish.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like peak fear in recent times.
Yeah.
But currently we are only at about 9%.
9%. So we can drop a bit more.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
It is not like 100% metric, but it's more like a general guidelines. Like smart money are not as afraid as they were back in June 2021.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, what about if we compare that to, let's say, 2017 to 2018? Do you guys have that data?
No, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think we could probably like query the data, but we don't have it like readily available.
Got it.
So I'm not too sure like how bad
Okay.
it was. But I also think like back then there were a lot less smart money.
Yeah.
So I think that the percentages can be skewed quite heavily by one or two like large funds that were active in the space. But now it's a bit more like spread out. You have like really a lot of funds. I know like people will say like institutional adoption. I think institutional adoption has like multiple like layers, right? So like you have like companies like Apple, for example, MicroStrategy. Then you also have like institutions like banks, or you have like funds like your VCs, hedge funds and stuff like that. I feel like in terms of VC space, like I think 2021 was like quite insane for VC space. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like it was orders of magnitudes higher than we've ever seen like money flowing into the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as of now at least, like smart money they aren't as afraid as they were in June.
Okay. So for some context, right? If peak greed, what's the percentage stable? Is it like 0%?
Oh no, like yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Scully is like what 6%? Then now it's like you know
So off the top of my head, I think it's like
4% lah.
four-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're at 9% sitting on stable coin, and the peak fear was at
It was at
12%
in recent
lah.
times.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Personally, in your point of view, right? What do you make of that data?
yeah, so the way I see it is like in between, you know, like we are almost exactly in between like peak fear and like peak greed.
So nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah, so essentially my own view is that like no one knows what's happening, and like I feel like some people have a better understanding than others. But if you ask someone to say with like complete confidence what's going to happen in the next 3 months, I don't think like anyone can tell you. And I feel that if they say that they could, I would say they are lying. And if they do get it right, it's luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to hear from you your thoughts on, you know, what are the near-term catalysts for the market? And I mean, right now everyone is talking about there's a cap in terms of how far we can go because of all the macro stuff that's happening, right? So can we talk a little bit more about the good news? You know, is there any catalyst? What's happening in the space?
Yeah.
Smart money is coming in. You know, what do we know?
So I think in terms of catalyst, I think the most like widely accepted one is Ethereum 2, the like not final form, but like the actual like merge, and Ethereum becomes proof of stake, slated to happen sometime middle of the year. But other than that, right, I'm actually like not like super sure what other.
So you're not. So you're.
Catalyst. Okay, so let me just provide some context as to why I don't really have an answer for the catalyst question. So when I was earlier in my like crypto investing days, which wasn't that long ago, so like, I also used to believe like, oh, like this, like let's say this event is gonna like cause like a major run up. So like a few of such instances where I like tried to make that play was like Kusama's parachain, Polkadot's parachain, and like various other like important launches. So what I've realized like in my own experience is that like when we are in a bull market, right, crypto related catalysts are really, really important.
Okay.
Like when everyone's like euphoric, then any announcement you make, right, it's gonna like
explode.
It's just gonna like pump it like crazy. But when things are not so smooth, right, then
any amount of catalyst doesn't make sense.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear, did the tree really fall, you know? That's the issue that I have with like catalysts. To me, right, the only catalyst that I feel that will really, really like pump the market, right, is if we have like a non-crypto related catalyst.
Yeah.
So
which
like
is tough right now.
Yeah, like you need like a macro level catalyst or something completely unexpected. So like let's say like US legalizing Bitcoin as legal tender.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's like no one ever like priced it in at all. There's like no way anyone could have seen it coming, and it's sort of like unrelated to like crypto.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean I don't want to like spread fart, but like that's just my own experience.
No, for sure.
And my own view of like how things are like. So I wouldn't be overly optimistic about like any like crypto related events, but we should still keep an eye out for any like crypto related advancements or events, purely from the sense of like at least we are still up to date with what's happening in space. We know what's being built, And as well as I think like that's also like a very important like metric, right?
Yeah.
Like when we want to have a long-term view of crypto. So like if no one's building in the space, then
Jala already.
yeah. So like so I think like I look at catalysts more of like a way for me to gauge like developer activity, yeah, instead of like actual like price pumps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, right? Which chain are you guys? Based on Nansen, right? Which blockchain right now has a lot of activities, a lot of like liquidity moving in, and you're bullish on?
Yeah, so for Nansen, we actually have this dashboard called the Bridge Builder dashboard. So what the dashboard shows is actually like fund flow from Ethereum into other ecosystems.
Yeah.
For chains that we support, of course, at this point in time. Some of the Ethereum L2s like Arbitrum,
Yeah.
Optimism, we support a few of other EVM compatible alternative L1s. So like Avalanche, Phantom. I took a look at it just now and it was quite interesting that like over the last like 7 days there's actually been a lot of activity flowing into both Ethereum L2s as well as alternative L1s like Phantom and Avalanche. So it means that while the total like crypto market cap like hasn't moved on and the price itself hasn't reflected this, there's actually like a lot of like funds flowing from Ethereum ecosystem over into like other alternative chains. One reason that I can think of is also like so like when you're in like a more like sideways market, right, you can't make money just by holding.
Yeah.
So you need to do like
Farming.
you have to do like DeFi related like on-chain farming, yield farming, or like ideally what I would recommend for most people is to do stablecoin farming.
Yeah.
And because like like Ethereum L2s and the alternative like layer 1s have like really cheap fees and also like a lot of like new like DeFi farms spawning. Yeah, so I feel like that could be one reason why funds are moving from like Ethereum over into like all these other ecosystems. Yeah.
Of the layer 2s, right? If layer 2, right? Arbitrum, which one is the blowing up right now on?
Okay, so like in terms of like Ethereum L2s, okay, if you consider like Polygon like a strict by definition, like if you consider it like a L2, then yes, it's the biggest by far, like by far. It's like not even close competition.
Yeah. If we exclude Polygon.
Yeah, if we exclude Polygon, currently we only have like support for
Arbitrum
and Optimism.
Yeah.
So I can only like speak on these two.
Yeah.
So between the two, right, Arbitrum is currently like leading by quite a bit. My own take is that it could be quite skewed because Arbitrum has a Treasure DAO. Not sure if you heard of Treasure DAO.
No.
So it's this like NFT marketplace thingy. So the token for it is a magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've actually seen over the last few
Days.
actually months actually is that like whenever there is like a popular game, I guess you can classify them as games. Like as long as you have a popular game on a particular chain, a single game alone can kind of like carry the whole chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a chain is small enough. So like Harmony,
DeFi Kingdom,
yeah. Like I mean, I didn't take a look at the data, but like I would be fairly confident to say that most of Harmony's activity is DeFi Kingdom.
DeFi Kingdom, I think more than half, 60-70%. Yeah.
Yeah, so Arbitrum has that going for it. Yeah, but I guess you can't also like make a trade on it since there's no tokens. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so based on your personal view, right, which layer 1 is promising and undervalued right now? It could be based on what you see on chain via Nansen or your personal point of view lah.
Okay, so I think I'll just go with my personal point of view for this question. So it's not financial advice.
It's not financial advice.
Yeah, and disclaimer, I do hold this token. So
Sure.
so my own point of view, Phantom. Why I say so is that looking at a few metrics. So one, Phantom's market cap is very close to its fully diluted valuation.
Yeah.
So that means that there's like a level of safety for yourself. Like you won't get dumped on by like future emissions coming in.
Yeah.
Second thing is TVL, so the total value locked in Phantom. Okay, I haven't checked in like at least 2 weeks, but so the number could be totally off right now, but at least back when I checked, right, Phantom was one of the only chains.
There's lesser than one.
Yes, correct. To me, like just looking at that pure like single metric alone, like if every chain is trading above like 1, shouldn't there be like also like a premium for Phantom?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So the fact that there isn't one makes me think like it's like slightly undervalued. There's also like a growing ecosystem on Phantom. They've attracted like attention of like reputable builders like Andre.
Yeah.
So I think Phantom seems to be like a pretty promising L1 in terms of like undervaluation aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there another one or just not Phantom?
I think the rest are
Not
are
worth a mention.
no. Like
Okay.
I'm personally like a fan of like other L1s
Got
as
it.
well. So like
Got it.
like Terra. Like I know you're a fan of like Terra as well.
Okay.
Avalanche is also like a pretty promising one. But in terms of like strictly like
Fundamentals point of view.
yeah, and with the assumption that it's undervalued and
Yeah.
that I can actually justify.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Phantom. Yeah.
So
yeah.
recently, Russia and Ukraine. Quick thoughts on that. How is that going to affect the whole crypto market, and where are you leaning towards in terms of development?
To me, that's the one thing that actually like really scares me. So like Fed tapering. Okay, Fed tapering and interest rates increase.
You can control.
Yeah, somewhat. And I feel that's a lot easier to price in.
Yeah.
Because like there has been like historical references of Fed tapering and interest rates increase. But like who can fairly like
A war, right?
Yeah, a war. Yeah. So that's the one that really worries me.
Yeah.
Because like to me that's the one thing that, because you cannot fairly price it in, it means that like there's a highest potential for like a massive swing in the market. Yeah, because it's not already priced in. And my own, okay, like this is just like some of the headlines I've seen. I didn't go and read because like, one headline I saw was that like apparently China is like watching at the side, because basically like however this like Russia-Ukraine thing plays out will kind of give them like a guide on how like China-Taiwan can play out, for example.
Right.
Yeah, so if that is even like remotely true, I'll be quite worried lah.
Got it.
And like I mean like war is obviously not going to be good for any market in general, except gold maybe. So,
Well, I mean, Bitcoin is digital gold, right?
yeah, so I was actually just like telling my friend like I think last night, I was telling him like bro, like if really there's an all-out war that breaks out, right, I'm just gonna like stack Bitcoin, because like to me Bitcoin is the best hedge against a very chaotic world. I know like people have like argued that Bitcoin is like currency and stuff like that, but my own take is that is while it is possible, it's like a really really like slim margin. Like I think Bitcoin can be a currency in countries that are struggling. But if we talk about like a global currency, or like being adopted by like US, for example, like Singapore, for example, it's very difficult, because like why would like a government want to recognize something else as like the currency, something that they cannot really control over like their own like fiat currency.
Yeah.
So my own view is that like Bitcoin as a currency is very difficult. Bitcoin as gold is probably like quite good, but Bitcoin as a hedge against like the current existing world turning into like complete chaos, that is like the real like value of like Bitcoin. Yeah, so my take is that if really there's an all-out war, I'll probably like wait a while just to like let the dust settle, see how the market responds, and then if I really don't know what to do, I'll just like stack a lot of Bitcoin.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so crypto has been down for the last 3 to 6 months, I guess.
Yeah.
But NFT though, what's happening? Like it's just going up and why are people chonging to buy NFT a lot, and what are some of the on-chain stuff that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I guess like Alex, the CEO of Nansen, has like a really good quote. So he has this quote that says like DeFi brought in the capital, but NFTs brought in the people. Yeah, and I think that that's like a really really good like summary of like what's going on. I think people who has been in the space for like a while can see that somehow like NFT markets and like broader crypto markets are inverse.
Yep.
So like when Ethereum is down, NFTs go up. Ethereum goes up, NFTs go down. So as to like exactly why this is happening, I don't think like anyone can give like 100% like this is why, but I think there's like a few like potential reasons. So the first reason is that NFTs, although they are traded in
ETH.
in ETH, they might not be priced in ETH.
Yeah.
They might be priced in USD.
Yeah.
So when there's a fluctuation in the ETH price, then like the NFT either increases or decreases in ETH terms, but might not change so much in USD terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bored Apes like hit like 100 ETH floor, right? But when Ethereum was like 4K,
it was 50 plus.
Yeah, which is roughly the same.
Correct. Yeah, I realized also.
Like roughly the same. It's like wow, it's like insanely like wow, it's like
in ETH terms,
yeah,
but
ETH terms,
in USD terms,
USD actually not really.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so it could just be like a market repricing in terms of USD value.
Yeah.
Then the second thing is that like NFTs actually present like a lot more speculative upside than a lot of coins today. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So why I say so is that like I guess like when people think of like speculative tokens, right, they think of like SHIB, Doge, Safe Moon, and like various other random stuff.
Yeah.
But those haven't like made moves in like really, really long time. But like when you see like a random NFT like doing like 10x, 100x, like where do speculators go, you know? And then especially when you have a very boring crypto market, then it's like, oh, so like I can't make money with tokens. Where can I degen and ape into?
So they go to
NFT. So I feel like it could be like a compounded thing. So like first the NFTs start to reprice to like price back into their USD terms. So that leads to like a appreciation in ETH value. And then when like the degen see it, then they're like, oh, it's going up. So then they like go and buy NFTs. So that leads to like a compounded like pump. Like you get the first pump from like just a natural repricing. Then you get a second pump, which happens because people see that, oh, it's going up, so they ape in more, then the price goes up. NFTs pumps, especially in January, there was like one night where like it was literally one night I slept, I woke up. There was like one NFT, right, that went from like 0.1 to like 0.3, 0.5, like literally overnight.
Yeah.
3 to 5x, like even in like peak crypto euphoria, right?
You don't see that.
It's not so common to see like a single token pumping like 3 to 5 times overnight. The reason why NFTs can have like such a massive like pump, right, is also because of the liquidity issues with NFTs. Tokens pump slower because there's a lot more liquidity. So what that means is that like you need a much larger amount of capital for you to actually move the needle. But when it comes to NFTs, right, let's say like there's only like 5 at the floor of like 10 ETH, then everything else like 15.
Yeah.
So all you need is like
buy that 5.
just buy that 5. Then the floor like jumps up like
Yeah.
So the lack of liquidity kind of like makes it a lot more exciting for speculators. And also I think people are starting to see it as like an asset class on its own. Like for example, people might see like crypto or like the broader like markets like a like commodity or like a fintech play or like a stock play, for example. While they might see NFTs as like a Rolex play or like an expensive luxury bag play. That might also be like why there's like a level of decorrelation. Yeah, so like rich people might be looking, okay, so I have like ton of crypto, how do I like somewhat diversify? Then they might look at NFTs, okay, so they've been relatively like stable or like up only.
Yeah.
So, you know, like they might be a good hedge.
Okay. So which collection are people buying right now based on Nansen's data?
In terms of like what's been really hot in like recent like weeks, I think Azuki was like really, really, really hot.
Yeah.
So like I think
what's your take on that? Do you think it's like a new meta thing, or is it like just a now it's the anime season and then that's it, we're gonna move on to something else already?
Just like off the top of my head, without really thinking too much, I think it's a bit of both. So like for example, right, the NFT market has also like shown that it's very prone to narrative swings. So like for example, let's say like the anime swing. Oh, suddenly like all of the anime like stuff like start
and then
pumping.
There's games and then there's like big.
So like I feel like we will have like a continuous like switch between different narratives, but when like the market turns bad for that particular narrative, right, there'll be like definitely like one or two that will like retain like blue chip status. Yeah. And when I say blue chip, I say it like very loosely because like honestly to me the entire NFT market, like you cannot really call something a blue chip, like purely because it hasn't experienced like a full like cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, like while crypto has in general has been like quite bad the last few months, it's not like really like kind of like super scary like 2018, 2019 kind of bad. So I feel like people in the space have not really had like real fear yet. So it's hard to say what really happens to the NFT market. So I think it's too early to call anything blue chips. But by the very loose definition of blue chips, I think there will be one or two that will like survive and continue like going on regardless of like the narrative switch. And maybe Azuki is one of them. I don't know, but Azuki is like a really interesting collection to me, purely because like we have like people that weren't really like super into NFTs they really start to throw a lot of capital into Azuki. Yeah. So like one example is
Arthur.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was like gonna like
But he's like a spokesperson for like Azuki right now lah. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and he wasn't like really like super into NFTs.
Yeah.
Because like I mean like his main strength is like DeFi and like GameFi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is where like he's really like insanely good at. Yeah, and he hasn't really like spoken that much about NFTs
Got it.
until Azuki came out, and then like he
Okay.
just went like crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So NFT right now is in a bull market right now, but in crypto it's sort of like in a bear market right now. So maybe to conclude, tell us, what are your thoughts on that to sum everything up?
I think like definitely like short to mid term, we are at best in a ranging market, at worst in a bear market. But yeah, so I guess like, it's very important to before you invest, of course, you need to really understand what are your time frames. So are you in it for like 1 year, 2 years, 3 or 4 or 5 years, or yeah. So I am more bullish the longer we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like my own take is that while short to mid term we are definitely in at best a sideways market.
Yeah.
If you are in it for the long run, yeah, like just continue like accumulating and always have cash on the side, I guess, because the worst thing that can happen is you wipe yourself out, like be it like leverage or you deploy everything and then it drops like 80-90%. So my advice would be to focus on just surviving for at least the next few months to maybe like even a year, and then just deploy like capital as and when, but always have stuff on the side.
Got it. So Martin told us that at best we are at a sideways market this year. But actually, if you look at what we have done, what we have achieved in the blockchain space, right? Long term, both of us are actually bullish. Thanks, Martin, for sharing your thoughts on the whole crypto market. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.